Lead from CHO2, but she's also here to represent Patrick and Gowie, who's her counterpart in CHO1, and she's just going to bring you through her role, or their role, and the link, because they work under the Office for Mental Health Engagement, and it's just to give you an idea and a flavour of what's happening in relation to that aspect of recovery. Colette, I'll just open up your presentation, so you just welcome Colette there.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Colette Tuohy, and I'm the ARI Learning Set for Mental Health Engagement.
I don't know. There you go. There you go. Sound is up, thank you. There you are. Great.
Thanks, Catherine. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Colette Tuohy, and I'm the Area Lead for Mental Health Engagement in Galway, Mayo and Roscommon. So, Area Lead for Mental Health Engagement, that's quite an obscure title, I suppose, and what it really means is working with service users and capturing their voice, the views of people that are using the mental health service. In a Vision for Change, which was mentioned a few times today, in 2006, it was recognised that service users, family members and carers need to have their voices heard in a meaningful way. And one of the first recommendations was that there should be service user involvement at every level of service design and delivery. The reference group, which was set up in 2014, which was made up of service users, family members and carers, was set up to develop recommendations for this service user involvement. And their report, Partnership for Change, recommended that there should be somebody leading this out nationally, and also people working on the ground regionally. And that's where I come in. Here I am. I'm the area lead for Galway, Mayo and Roscommon, as I said, and the fact that I'm a member of the area mental health management team means that there's a voice for service users, family members and carers where it matters. There are 9 of us area leads nationally in each CHO area, and as Catherine said, Patrick Tuohy, my colleague for CHO1, and he has a very small area. He only covers Donegal, Sligo, Leitrim, Cavan and Monaghan. And unfortunately he couldn't be with us today. He had other commitments, but I know that if, I have his contact details, and if anybody needs any information, I'd be delighted to give you that. My own background is in community development and advocacy work, working with marginalised communities over the last 10 years. I've also managed a primary healthcare project for travellers in Westmeath for 3 years. I have my own lived experience of mental health difficulties, and I'm very passionate about a holistic approach to recovery. So what is mental health engagement? It's for those that have used mental health services, their family members and carers, and to listen, to reflect and act upon these views locally and nationally. So I'm in post since March of this year, meeting service users, family members and carers at different events, at the recovery colleges, at meetings, and I'm also meeting community and voluntary organisations and service providers. But I suppose for me now the real work has started. We're in the process of setting up local fora. And the purpose of a local forum is to ascertain the views and experiences of service users, family members and carers, and to act upon these views. I'm setting up the local fora in Galway, Mayo and Roscommon. I'm circulating flyers, and I'm seeking expressions of interest in becoming part of each local forum from service users, family members and carers. Each local forum will collect the views and experiences of people using the mental health service, and this will then be taken to the area management team for action and will go towards improving the mental health services. There will be a chairperson and secretary elected for each local forum, and just to say, the local forum will cater for each 100,000 population within Galway, Mayo and Roscommon, and so we're looking at probably 5 local fora. The chair and secretary will bring the issues or the views, comments and suggestions from each local fora to management level. I hope that's not too confusing. The principles of mental health engagement, human rights principles and recovery focused as espoused in Vision for Change and the Partnership for Change report. And at this point, I'd just like to say that ARI have been paving the way for mental health engagement with service users, family members and carers, and I look forward to working collaboratively with the organisation, to continue to work collaboratively, I should say, with the organisation, and a special mention to Francis Walsh as well. Challenges to involvement or engagement. I've capacity building and training here, and I suppose they apply to both sides, you know, from within the mental health division and also to include service users, family members and carers. Everybody is coming from a different background, would have different educational backgrounds, different experiences and skills, and so it's really important that no one is left behind. There will be support when needed, and we will also signpost people if we can't provide that support. I've stigma here, which is another, well, it's a huge issue within mental health difficulties and illness, and I think the fact that all of us 9 area leads have lived experience or have cared for somebody who's gone through the mental health service or are using the mental health service goes a long way towards breaking down barriers and reducing stigma. I have geography here because I have such a huge area to cover, and has Patrick and some of my other colleagues. And within that there are challenges around rural isolation, poor public transport, and as I've discovered recently, language barrier. While we have diverse populations in some of our towns, I've discovered that I will have to brush up on my Irish skills because I have to deliver my service as Gaeilge, and I suppose the fact that I've C in Honours Irish, which was in 1987, but that's so I'm looking forward to that. And while it's important to talk about what we are about and what we intend to do, it's also important to talk about what we are not and to set the boundaries from the get-go. Because there are other services available for, you know, what I'm talking about now. I'm going to be talking, we're not a parallel complaint service, we're not an ombudsman commission, a support group or helpline, a personal advocacy service or we don't provide group therapy. So what we hope to achieve: better recovery and well-being focused mental health services to the benefit of all stakeholders. Empowerment of service users, their families and carers, and partnership, and co-production. I'll just add that in there. And that just remains for me to thank you all for your attention, and I hope you're all chomping at the bit now to get involved in the local fora, and I will have to leave in about half an hour, but I'll be in the lobby or around this general area if anybody wants to get some information. Please contact me, and if you want to get in touch with Patrick as well, I've no problem giving you his details. So, thank you.